Champaign Police, how can I help you?
Hey, I am calling about the attorney that was arrested around midnight last night at Clark Street by officers Deal and Lieb.
Okay.
Are Deal and Lieb available, or is anyone available to talk to me about that arrest?
Let's see here. Do you have a case number by chance?
No. All I know is that an attorney was arrested around midnight around Clark Street, and he failed to identify. Or declined to identify. That's what I've been told. And that's what it sounds like.
What's the guy's name?
That he declined to identify, so we don't know that.
It's going to be hard to look him up in jail then. You said he was arrested?
Yeah. And the people that the names that I've been given are Officer Deal and Officer Lieb, and we're under the assumption that this was an attorney because the officers can only be the only people that are legally authorized to provide legal ID are bar attorneys.
They're only ones that are authorized to do what?
Legal ID is legal instruments, legal papers, and whatnot. The only people who are legally authorized to provide that kind of information are attorneys. So I'm speculating that the cops arrested this attorney. This was actually an attorney that they arrested because they should know that attorneys must provide ID when asked for it. But if one is not an attorney, they're not required to provide ID because they're not legally authorized to use legal devices such as ID.
Hang on just a second, okay?
All righty.
Okay, I'm still looking. It just takes me a little bit of time when I don't have a whole lot of information.
Well, it is kind of a strange case because if the individual did an ID, it tells me one of two things. It's an attorney that's actually breaking the law by not providing ID, because attorneys they're legally authorized to provide ID, or it's an individual that is not an attorney, thus making it illegal for them to provide legal ID. So if the man was arrested,
if they're not an attorney, it's illegal?
Right, because in Illinois, only attorneys can practice legal and law. And so if you're not an attorney and you have legal ID and you provide it to an officer, you're actually practicing law. You're involving yourself in legal process without the appropriate legal authority to do so. So what I'm trying to find out is, was this guy a bar card carrying attorney, or was he not an attorney? Because if he's been arrested for not showing ID and he's not an attorney, then those two officers just kidnapped someone illegally.
Well, if they arrested him for doing something wrong, then that's not going to be illegal.
Well, okay. Well, was there a victim? Did the individual?
I don't know which case we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is at Clark.
Enough information.
Okay. Well, this is at Clark. Well, the three pieces of information are: this occurred at Clark around midnight. The individual wouldn't provide ID, and officers Deal and Lieb were allegedly involved. So, whatever they were doing around midnight with someone that wouldn't ID. We're trying to find out what details are.
And what agency do you work with?
I don't work for an agency. I'm what's called a living being that's interested to find out why police officers are arresting people that might not be bar attorneys for failure to provide some legal thing.
Well, no one knows at this time. We're assuming that someone was arrested for not providing an ID. That's an assumption that's being made.
Okay.
Let's see here. And without a name, I can't check to see what someone was arrested for.
Now, when you say name, are you referring to the legal name?
They give the name John Doe.
Okay.
Well, if they, I should probably use a better name like John Smith. Okay, so John Smith gives their name, then I can look in county and say, oh, okay, well, John Smith was arrested last night. He was arrested for burglary, or he was arrested for criminal damage, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But
Well,
there is no one that shows arrested under, just like a John Doe type person.
is that standard procedure when someone doesn't identify as just to assign a John Doe?
Listed as a John Doe, yes.
So there's no John Doe showing up as being arrested around midnight, around Clark Street?
I'm looking in the county system. I'm not showing any John Does in the county system.
Okay. Well, is there...
It's possible someone was detained just long enough to see what they were doing, and then, and then they let them go.
Okay. Well, is there anything under Officer Deal and Lieb's booking information around midnight regarding a John Doe?
No, I'm not showing that.
Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and let you go. However, please look to learn more about what I'm speaking of on the legality side of things and the illegality side of things when it comes to requiring ID. Please look at the website, losethename.com.
Lose the name?
Correct. Losethename.com, and it will go into great detail on this.
I mean, I understand that. It's just that if people want to give their name, they have that. That's their choice.
Right, but if we are not attorneys, it is against the law for us to provide a legal name or any legal ID. And the reason it is against the law, number one, is because it's illegal to practice law or be involved with legal things unless you're an attorney. Number two, all legal names are copyright protected. And the corporation that owns that copyright has been asked and has thus far declined to provide written permission to us to use their legal names that they've created in their birth certificates and whatnot. It's very simple. It is completely illegal to use legal names unless you're a bar attorney.
Okay.
Okay? Well, I'll let you go. Thank you much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.